Hi, I'm Joe Leone, and I make the videos for 18XX Training. We did the setup. Now we're going to go into the initial share round, which is the first round of the game. After I go over how to do the initial share round, I will cover each of the privates individually and talk about how the privates are used. If I can convince my cat to let me get up and get to the game table, we'll take a look at the initial share round. Okay, we're at the table now. What I have set up here is I have a 4-player game set up with an initial bank of 250 pounds per player. If you remember from the setup, we had randomly determined which of the private companies are going to open in which order. So in this case, the topmost is going to open all the way to the bottom. We also start with privates number 1 and private number 11. Private 11 gives you the directorship of the DKR. And we randomly shuffle up the cards and randomly pick 3. I'll try to do it without looking, and here are the 3 we get. Okay, we ended up with P1, which is always in. We're going to order these in cost. We have P3, cost 40. We have P4, which is cost of 45. P6, and P11. Now, I will go over the specifics of each of the private companies at the end of the video. So stay tuned. All right, so in the initial share round, players have basically one of 3 actions that they can take. They can purchase a private, the lowest priced private, at its face value. They may make a bid on any of the other privates. Now the bids have to be $5 above the cost and in $5 increments. Additionally, they may pass. The initial share round will go until one of 2 situations have occurred. All players have passed and at least one of the privates have been sold. Or all the privates are sold. So let's get started. So let's take an unusual situation, and let's say that the first player passes, second player passes, third player passes, and fourth player passes. No one's made any bids. The price of P1, well, the initial share round is reset, and the price of P1 is reduced by £5. Second possibility, player 1 makes a bid. We'll say he bids 45 on the second private. And we're going to put that in the upper corner so I don't forget who bid on that. And then 2, 3, and 4 pass. 1 passes. So everyone has passed consecutively. No privates have been sold. So again, the auction is reset. We return the bid to player 1. And private 1 is now reduced an additional £5. So now it can be purchased for £10. This can happen multiple times until P1 gets down to 0 cost, at which time the priority player has the obligation to buy it. All right. More realistically, we're going to say third round's coming up. P1 does not get bought. Player 1 makes his £45 bid on P3. Player 2 bids 50 on P4. Player 3 bids 50 on P3. player 4 makes a bid of 125 for P11. Go back to player 1, and he buys P1 for $10. So player 1 has purchased P1. We then pause the auction and we resolve the bids taken. First off is P3. P3 has 2 bids on it between player 1 and player 3. The bid is 50 from player 3. Player 1 passes, so his money is returned to him. And player 3 pays the bank and has now purchased P3. Player 2 is the only bid on private 4, so he earns that one. And now we continue the auction. The last one to purchase was player 1, so player 2 gets a chance to bid. He may now buy P6 or make a bid on P11. He passes. Nobody wants P6. They all pass. After everyone passes, P6 is removed from the game, and player 4 gets the presidency of the DKR. Hello again. We're back at the table, and now we're going to talk about the individual private companies. I'm going to talk about P1 and P11 first because they're in every auction. P1 is very simple, and it blocks the Wicklow hex, which would be this DAR hex right here, until it is bought by any company or it closes. P11. P11 is the Dublin and Kingstown Railway. If you remember, you get the directorship of the DKR Railroad, which starts right here. There's pre-printed track for the DAR. The company charter. You're going to put the winning bid on the charter. So we're going to say it was a minimum, which is $125 if it was bid on. You're going to take the token and place the value at half of the purchase price, rounded down, and it has to be one of these 5 values. So in this case, 125, half of that is 62.5. We round that down to 60, and that is the initial share price. You're going to take the remaining shares, put them on a charter, and it starts with a 2 train, so you have to pay for that. And it will be ready to run OR1. It has a route, it has a train. Unfortunately, it will not be able to build any track until the green phase. P2 is the Donegal Railway. The Donegal Railway owning company places 2 connected narrow gauge hex tracks. It can be an IR5, a 77, a 78, or a 79. In Donegal, which is located right here. So the IR5 has to go in Donegal, and it can face any one of the 6 hex sides, depending on what minor company you have. And you get to attach 1 additional track to it. So it's going to give you those 2 as yellow. You have to lay both tracks. If somebody else has built in one of the 2, you cannot use this private's ability. And of course, that is going to close the private. P3. P3 is going to give a revenue of $9. The owning company may place a yellow tile without payment of terrain costs. So as part of your normal track lay, for example, let's say I have that hex already there, and I want to build this direction, I could build that track for no cost instead of paying the 80 pounds to go over the mountains. I can do this up to twice. So I could also continue this path with another one without paying the 40, and that would close the Board of Works. The way you indicate it is the first time you use it, you exhaust it, rotate it 90 degrees, and then the second time you use it, of course, it closes. P4, the City of Dublin Steam Packet Company. It allows you to place this anchor token in one of 3 cities. Londonderry, and you can see the anchor there. Belfast, you can see the anchor there. Or Rosslare, you can see the anchor right there. That will increase the value of that revenue station by 10 pounds for the remainder of the game. And using it closes the company. The Tralee and Dingle Railway. This card actually has a misprint on it. The way it's supposed to be is that you are allowed to place 2 IR5 tiles connecting those 2 cities. Piece 6. This is going to block this DCR hex right here until the company is purchased or the company closes. Transatlantic Steam Packet is another revenue center. You may place a 20 pound token on Galway. This token adds 20 pounds to the city's revenue for the owning company until the end of the game. And of course, using it closes the company. P8, the River Shannon Shipping Company. This is kind of a neat one. What it allows you to do is the owning company may add the value of Limerick or Drummond to the other city for 1 train per turn until this private closes. So it allows you to combine the revenue of Limerick and Drummond. Basically, it's using the river to transport goods. William Dargan Esquire. Each turn the owning company upgrades a tile, it may upgrade an additional tile for 30 pounds. We'll talk more about tile upgrades during the operating rounds. And finally, the Irish Mail. There are 3 hexes that have these yellow envelopes located on them. And what this allows you to do is to place the red offboard in the water adjacent to those cities. It does not have to point to Londonderry. It can point here, here, and again, we have 3 choices there. We also have it down here at Kingston. So it has to be adjacent to Kingston. So it's either going to be pointing to Kingston or Dublin. And the third one is Waterford. So it can go to that mountain hex, Waterford, and these 3 right there. That is all 11 of the private companies. The next video is going to be on the share round, and we're going to talk about what happens during the normal share rounds. Thank you for watching. I hear the conductor. That means it's time to go. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like and a comment. Until next time, have fun trading.